Taurus.
Hello Taurus, how's it going? This is your forecast for June 2017. And listen, you know what? Last month you had a great time of expanding your joyfulness, your personality, and I think in so many ways you were like the it person. Now this month your focus is shifting towards your financial income sector, okay? So not only do you have the Sun and Mars here, so Mars has already been kind of carving out the path for you. You feel motivated, you're driven, there's synchronicity coming in, and of course whenever we have synchronicity we know that we're on the right path, right? It's flowing. Now the Sun is joining Mars here and has been for this last week of May. So you're starting off well, and then we will have Mercury also joining that crowd. So this is the best time, not just of 2017, this year, but it's going to be the best time until 2019 when Mars returns to this area. So you have like all these factions of energy kind of like lining up. So look at whatever opportunities, not just maybe in what you are doing, have been doing. Maybe there could be new ways of attracting more income as well. That could be the outcome. And this is because we're in the sign of Gemini, and Gemini is really versatile, okay? They can spread themselves, so it's not just one thing. You know, a lot of the sun signs like to work on one thing and focus there only, but Gemini can wear many hats, right? So kind of think outside of the box, see where that's going to bring you. May have some dynamic aspects for you, opening up a few doors, so you might find yourself in a very creative place here in June. We also have the new moon in your third house, so that's always new beginnings. It's where we plant our seeds. This month, it's showing up in your third house, Taurus. And to me, that says this is a time where you're focusing on wanting to get out and about, maybe travel more, not necessarily long distance, but getting out of the house, maybe a road trip. You know, take a beautiful afternoon and go somewhere. Enjoy nature. Getting into nature a little bit more for you is extremely healing. This new moon is in the sign of Cancer, and so we need to nourish ourselves as we nourish others, right? So wherever you find your outlet for inspiration, that's what your intention should be this month. And I feel it has to do with travel more than anything else. So the full moon, having that said, is in your 8th house, again, for your finances, but not necessarily your income streams per se. This is more an area where it's going to be highlight, investments, insurances, payouts, royalties, commissions, that kind of thing, or taxes too. So you could receive some money there, but it's more shuffling it around because Saturn has been working trying to set this up for you for the long haul. So when he's done by the end of the year, you're good to go for another 29 years. So he's really looking out for the long haul for you. But we have good news. This is Jupiter now moving direct again after a long retrograde. For you, Jupiter is in your 6th house. So I'm feeling that, you know, whenever we have Jupiter here, you know, Jupiter expands everything, but that also means our waistline, right? Maybe we've been eating more, all that. So when he goes direct again, it might just help you become a little bit more focused, get back on board, going to the gym, looking at your diets, that kind of thing. You'll feel a little bit more enthusiastic about it. So if you've been feeling like, oh, well, I'll just have that pizza, so what, right? Or that ice cream. That's just Jupiter saying, just go for it. And you know what? At times, we just have to give our body what it wants so the body can be happy. But you're going to get back up and running. That's my point after June 10th. Saturn is retrograde still to August 26th, and we've mentioned that before. He's looking out for your long-term financial securities. Neptune, however, will retrograde this month. And Neptune is our vision, it's our spirituality, it's our higher ideals of those aims and goals that we hold. And so that might take a little low curb. It's our creativity as well. So from June 16th to November 23rd. So if you have any creative projects going on, I'd say get on board with it now before retrograde. Not saying it's going to cut the channel off, but it may not be as accessible to you. You might have to work a little bit harder, because sometimes when we're in that creative flow, it just comes to us effortlessly. You know how that goes, right? And then there's times like our imagination is so dried up, it's like, where is it? All right? So in that sense, if you've got projects, get it going by then. And if not, then just wait to after November 23rd. Now Pluto went retrograde April 21st. Now this is in your 9th house, so yeah, you might already now start feeling that things have slowed down as far as any lawsuits that you're working on, or any foreign contracts, visas, green cards. It's not going to be moving too quickly, but it will go direct again in September 29th. Now, for those of you who have listened to May early, you might want to listen to it again, because it was a powerhouse of energy there towards the end of the May, saying that you would open up June with energy. This is how it's going to start for you. We have the Sun, which is essentially you. We got Saturn. They are trine. So even though Saturn is retrograde, that doesn't always mean something negative. It just means that it's digging deeper and behind the veil. And what has it been digging it for? Well, that will reveal itself on the 1st, and it has something to do with securities, money, and so forth. A payout, a lawsuit payout maybe, or maybe a mortgage is coming through. So between the 1st and the 3rd, it is awesome, because you got that Venus and Uranus. They're conjunct. Venus is love, it's romance, it's money, it's all those romantic and creative feelings that we have. And when it ties up with Uranus, well, then we have a blast. You know, there's some unexpected Pandora's box that could open up, and for you that's taking place there in the 12th house. So what I would like to say, pay attention to your dreams. You might just have a very prophetic dream, one of those very lucid ones that can wake you up smack out of dead sleep. And if so, I would say write it down, because dreams can disappear quickly, but there's a message here for you in that. On the 3rd, more good news. Now, the Sun is in trine to Jupiter, and so even though Jupiter is still retrograde, it's bearing good news, and your Jupiter is in your 6th house, and the Sun right now, 2nd house for money. So I'm feeling that there could be news about money coming to you. I feel that you could close a deal, maybe, that you've been working on. But the 3rd definitely carries with it some blessings, which I can't really say the same about. There on the 4th, pay attention to communications. There might be something that's a little in the gray zone. Maybe we're not listening. Neptune, when it's afflicted like this by the Sun, it just gets a little muddled. And so you might have to work that up a little bit later. There's a couple of Neptune squares this month. So the thing is, if we're not thinking we're hearing correctly, or we're needing to sign any contracts, and you have questions, do voice them. Just, you know, don't be afraid to ask. You need to clarify, because sometimes we just assume that it's like this or that, right? So we got both the Sun and Mercury squaring off on Neptune here this month. That square to Mercury will be on the 14th. The Sun is on the 4th. So you can see there's that whole week. But there's good news in between those two dates. We have Mars and Venus both changing signs. On the 4th, Mars is moving into your 3rd house of communication, short distance travel, siblings and neighborhoods and your closer community. You're going to be much more active there now, spending time with them, and a lot of to and fro. Mars has really plowed the grounds in your financial area, so now that is done and completed, allowing the Sun and Mercury to follow up what he plowed, right? So now you're going to be social. And Venus, when it moves into Taurus, This is your ruler, and so it is in your first house. And when Venus is in the first house, let me tell you though, Taurus, this is when you're most attractive throughout the entire year. It happens. For a few weeks every year, Venus will come here, and this is when you are radiant. You are even more attractive than you normally are. It's just this charisma coming out. And there's a sense of generosity following along with Venus too. So you might just feel that this is the time you'd like to renew yourself, new haircut, new colors, and maybe wardrobe, just wanting to lift things up, right? On the 13th, we have Mercury delivering you some great news from Jupiter. I feel that this is something money related. So you get a couple of money related prospects here in June. I'm really happy to see it because I know how hard you work, Taurus, to get ahead. And this is one of those days that you will have that. So on the 18th, we're making some decisions. Mercury and Saturn, they're opposing each other, and they're like, you know, Mercury wants one thing, Saturn wants another thing. So it's a time for compromise. I'd give it the day before and the day after, so say from the 17th to the 19th, the 18th is the exact, where we're finding ourselves communicating with somebody about something. And for me, this has to do with your financial sector. It could be talks that you might have with your tax agent. It could be a banker, broker, whatnot, or investor, whoever's investing money for you, insurance agency, or say if you're receiving royalties and commissions, they might say they're taking out more of a chunk. You may not be too happy about that. Maybe you're going to have to negotiate something, but then you get the gist, right? On the 20th, though, we have a match made in heaven. This is the beautiful date night of the month. Venus and Neptune, they're doing the dance. And Venus is love and romance, but Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So this is really super romantic. And for those of you who are artists, and I know a lot of you Taurians are, you might just feel super inspired too, where you, if you're a creator of music, you might just hear all those tones being channeled in. If you're a painter or a sculptor, you might just feel that you're channeling whatever artwork you're doing. And in the romantic sense, well, this is a very, very heart-to-heart, spirit-to-spirit time of sharing. Now, your Venus is in the first house, your Neptune's there in the 11th house, so it could even have an attachment to your hopes and dreams, the things that you've been praying for, wishing for to happen. So this could be a manifestation of those higher aspirations. On the 21st, we got both the Sun and Mercury changing signs. They're moving into the sign of Cancer, out of your second house. So they've done their job. First Mars did it, then the Sun and Mercury has set all your ducks in a row. Now you can leave that for a whole year. And your focus will be more on the here and now, getting to and fro around your neighborhood, and also finding yourself that much more on the phone. This is, the rest of the month is going to be very chatty, okay, because that's what it loves to do when it's in that third house. On the 24th, another money day. Let me tell you though, I'm really loving this, and I say that because Pluto is involved. Now, Venus rules money, but Pluto, like Jupiter, rules big money. All right, Pluto never does anything small because he's that pivotal point of transformation. What is he trying to transform? Those of you who are lucky enough to land a deal, close a deal, whether it is, you know, in real estate, buying a new home, or in business, this could be a very good client to get. I feel that you're going to be super happy with what you have been working for. If you've been waiting for your visas, green cards, or a lawsuit to go through, this would be the time that you could get a green light and the door opens. So circle that for you. It's the 24th. Besides that, if we talk about passion, both Venus and Pluto is very passionate. So this is an incredibly passionate day, so make the most use of that too. On the 25th, there might be a little cloud over paradise. Okay, and I say that because you're heading in one direction, full speed. That's Mars. You're onto it, you're doing what you're doing, you've made your plans, and then Jupiter comes and says, you know, we might need to make a different turn here. And that might just upset your rhythm or your goal set for that day. But hey, be flexible, you know, because if something doesn't come together on the 24th, doesn't mean it can't come together in a little bit. Just try to roll with it so it doesn't upset or frustrate you. But you will come to see that there's a lot of people, it's not just you, a lot of people may feel very upset or frustrated because both these energies are dynamic energies. They both want to be heard and expressed and seen, right? So there's not enough room for attention to both energies. That's how I see it. So be the wise one to be the observer rather than the participant, because if you're participating in that, you'll feel the drama. But if you just choose to be a participant, you know, there's no emotion in just simply seeing, right? So, but on the 28th, we have another inspirational day where I feel you're going to be channeling all this energy from the higher realms, spiritually and so forth, Mercury and Neptune. So for those of you who are writers, and I know a lot of you are excellent writers there at Taurus, so this could be a day where you can really profoundly get into it, you know, and achieve a lot in a very short amount of time. If you're a dancer, you'll feel that you're weightless. There's no weight. It's like you're floating above the floors. If you're a painter, you're simply just the channel holding the brush. So I love that for you. And if you're creating music, let me tell you, you will fall in love with your own work on this day. On the 30th, though, then again, we have another little bit of a hiccup, disagreement, Mercury and Pluto. This could be a little bit of power play. And whenever we have that power play, it's just not what we generally like, right? Nobody likes when somebody's coming across too dominant. You know, we might feel offended by it. We really want to watch that we're not the one coming over a little bit too dominant either. So, yeah, you could see that people are a little short-tempered. It's Mercury and Pluto. That can become a little feisty. People's buttons are easier triggered, right? So watch out for your own buttons on the 30th. But before I end, let's talk about the moons. We got the full moon on June 9th. This is showing up for you in your 8th house. It's there with Saturn. This is the area where things are going to be illuminated, which has to do with your security funds, right? Whereas the new moon for you is in the 3rd house for communication, siblings, neighborhood, any kind of social activity as far as like being on the phone and so forth, and short distance travel. So that's where you want to plant your seeds this month. So listen, as always, it's thank you for watching, and I will see you in July, and have a great month. Bye now.